everybody. Here with another one. So, at this time, still talking about your old self had to die before your new self can begin. So look, between the time from the hospital to me going back to driving, I took a lot of layers back off. From the time I'm about to leave from the hospital to the time that I started driving, a lot of my layers I was taking off. So, at the end of the run of the hospital, and I knew I was about to go back to driving, I was really, 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 really anxious. Because it was like, I knew how to drive. It wasn't nothing about, it was just going back to it after I had to do something for the last 4 to 5 years different than my driving that I was doing. So I was preparing to do that. So me and my wife relationship was way, way, way better. It got to the point where we don't even remember how it actually got to where it was, how God fixed it, because in God's time, we can't really, all we can say is like, it happened. God made it happen. He made it happen. It happened where it was like we didn't even recognize it, because we both was putting in work trying to fix our relationship. I mean, it wasn't, when I was at the hospital, it wasn't bad, but it was, we was working on it. So we was working on it, and by the time I got back to driving, we was in a good place. So, but before I left the hospital, right, and this is another story, but me and my wife was in a place where, we was getting a little older, and our relationship was going in a good direction. It was going in a really, really good direction. Our communication was way better. All my antics, I was cutting it all out. I was just focusing on God and my family, my wife. So me and my wife, before, maybe like a year ago, before, we talked about it. We talked about it, and we was trying to conceive. We was trying to have a baby. And we tried, and it never happened. I think we tried maybe for 2 years, and it never happened. So, this is how God put people in your life. So, I ain't saying no names, but I had a real close friend. If she watched this, she gonna know who she is. But had a friend, and when I first met her, she seemed so mean. But as I got to know her, she is a wonderful person. A really, really wonderful. I look at her like a sister. So me and her was talking one day, and she was telling me about like IVF. I never knew nothing about IVF. You know what I mean? I never, So me and her was talking about it, and she was telling me about this stuff, and she was like, yeah, our insurance covering, da 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 da, and I'm like, huh. I said, so what place did I, or get covered? So she gave me the place name, the place name, and the place name is Shady Grove facility. Yo, anybody that ever have to go through IVF, this place is wonderful, wonderful, nice people. I'm not a promoter of it, but I'm just telling you because of my experience and my wife's experience. But the place is wonderful. The staff, I mean, listen, they go beyond. And our doctor, bro, the best. He was the best. So, anyway, so she told me about it. We reached out. And, we made a date consultation to go talk about it, just to talk about it, the different options and everything. So, you know, we made a date and we did that. We went to go see. We went for a consultation. You know, consultation, see what's going on and, you know, different, you know what I mean, like, stuff. Check on me, check on my wife, you know what I mean, see why it's not happening naturally. So we did that. He explained to us, and his name is Dr. Martin. I love this guy. Like, you know, I really want my son to meet him. Because, you know, God blessed him to be in the position that he is, but later on in the story. So, so he told us, you know, we got the process started. He talked to us about the different options that we could go through and the best options that we could go through. You dig? So, and he really respected, like, okay, about, let's see what your insurance would cover, and you know what I mean? So, like I said, we was working at the hospital at the time. I think me and my wife was working at the hospital. I think I was working at the hospital longer though. So she was under my, you know, plan. So we went and he gave us the option. So, you know, he seen that we had good insurance and that it covered 90% of the cost. My insurance covered 90% of the cost. Now, IVF is not cheap. It's not cheap. I don't know the exact price, but it's not cheap. It's in the hundred. It's in the like 20,000, 25, 30,000. It's up there. It's really up there. But our insurance, well, our insurance covered 90% of the cost. So, and after we maxed out our deductible, everything after that was free. So once we got to a limit, everything else was free. Co-pays, everything was just included. So we got the results and we found out what was wrong. Maybe in my wife video, you know what I mean, it's, you know, she'll tell her side of the story. But so we was like, okay, cool. We found out what was wrong, and we was like, okay, let's work on it. So we continued to do what we was doing. And this is, like I said, we still was learning. We still was taking off layers, you know what I mean? But I was to the point where I was totally changed. So, we said we weren't going to do it right now. So we continue to work, continue to do things, because then I started driving. I went back to driving, and I was working at my job. So we continued to just build our relationship with God, build our relationship with each other. We just kept building, kept building, and focusing on the things that we had to focus on. You know what I mean? Back when I got the DUI, and you know, we never really told people, but back when I got the DUI and to the point where I started working, we got backed up on bills, like really, really backed up. And you know, I kind of felt bad because it was my fault, but my wife did her best to do what she could do. You know what I mean? Like I said, I was just doing ins and out jobs once I got my DUI, but you know, once we both had jobs and we was working, and you know, it was cool, but we got backed up on bills. We paid the ones that was more important. So this is how God works. So we was backed up on rent for probably over a year. So our landlord that we had, she was you know what I mean, she was understanding, you know, but she was one of them landlords where nothing got done to the apartment we was in. And like, you know, she wasn't one of them people. So, you know, it is what it is. So, you know, we got backed up on rent, and you know, she was asking, I need this, I need that. But once we started getting everything together, like our relationship was going strong, and God started showing us that we could do so much more with our finances. So we started to, we put the baby thing to the side, and we just focused on trying to put in we put a lot of things that we wanted to do to the side, to do sacrifice. We wanted to sacrifice doing the stuff we wanted to do so we could do the things that we had to do. So, we ain't going on vacation, we just worked, we was doing this, we was doing that. So we got to the point, and this is how good God is, we got to the point where we was doubling up on our rent to catch up. We was doubling up. You know what I mean? And we was seeing like, wow, we could, I think with what we paying and doing right now, we could get a house. You know what I mean? Like I think we could get a mortgage. So, that's what, so, we kept doing it. We kept focusing on, our relationship and working. So, a year went past, and we was basically almost caught up with rent. From being a year, so, you gotta think about it. We was a year behind, but we still had to pay rent at the same time. So we was almost caught up, and thank God. God really is an awesome guy. He did what he did, and we was almost caught up. So from a year from when we seen the doctor to a year to where we said, you know what, let's start the process. Let's do it. Let's do it. I want a kid. She want a kid. I wanted to, if something happened to me, I wanted to make sure I could leave something to, my kid. So, we said, come on, let's do the process. But in the process of that, we actually started like picking out names for our kid. Like, we had a girl, we had a name. We had a boy, we had a name. And we stuck with it. You know what I mean? My mom helped us, and the Bible really helped us a lot too. So we was like, let's focus on it. So we did the whole process where, getting the eggs and making the embryo. We did all that. It was a lot. And I looked at my wife and seen how she was going through this because it's something that we wanted. And I really, really got a deeper love for her, because it's like she's going through all this, giving herself needles, going to the doctor every week, traveling. We traveling to do this. She traveling to do this. Like, since we was, she was high risk because of our age, her age. She had to do a little extra. So she had to go to the doctor every 2 weeks. She had to go get checkups. She had to go do this. She had to go do that. And I looked at her, I really got a deeper love, because I see the passion that she had to, so that we can conceive a child, have a child. And it was a lot. It was a lot. I seen it. I know if I was in her, I wouldn't want to do all that. But she did it. She did it. She did everything she had to do. And I love her for that. You feel me? Like, it was. I respect people that had to go through IVF because of all the stuff that they gotta go through. So she did it. So we got kinda when we got to the end, and okay, we had to do this, had to do that, and so at the end of the process, we gotta, eject. I don't want to make it seem graphic, but you gotta eject the sperm into the egg to make an embryo. So we did it. We did that. Everything went smooth. I think we had like about 6 or 7 embryos. We might have had more, but a lot of them, they picked the strongest ones. They picked the strongest embryos to keep. So I think at the end of the day, I think we had like 6. We had 6 strong ones. 6 strong embryos that they kept, and that they froze. So, but this was a little bit before, So once the embryos made, they froze them for us. So when we got ready to, that story might be a little bit off, because I think the embryos was there for a while, and then we just said, okay, we want to do it. So by the time we was like, okay, doc, we want to, start the process or whatever. They was like, all right, cool. So they, they had our embryos number 1. Like I said, if it was 6 or 5, they had it numbered from 1 to 6. So when we said we wanted to do it, they picked one. I forgot the number. My wife knew the number. Sorry, guys. These rules is retarded. My wife knew the number of the one they picked first. So they picked, I think they might have picked 1 first. They picked 1, they thawed it out, and they got it thawed out, and it was ready for, what did they call it? Ready for, basically to put the embryo in. You know what I mean? So, that's what happened. They scheduled a date. We had to go to Brookside, I think, office to do that. And we did that. We did that. They injected her with it. We went about our daily routine. It was cool. We went through that process because it was cool. You know what I mean? I think you gotta wait like 2 weeks before you could actually take a pregnancy test and see if what the baby was doing. So when they did that, we waited the 2 weeks, or maybe a week and a half, or however we did it. We seen that we was pregnant. It was it was a happy moment. Like, oh man, we preggo. You feel what I'm saying? So, like I said, since she was high risk, she had to go to the doctor more than often. So she did, and maybe like a couple weeks later, we found out that she miscarried. And, at first, with that, I was a little upset, and I think she was too, because we wanted, the process, a journey of doing IVF is long. It's a long process. So we was a little upset, like, both of us, and, but the cool thing is knowing God and what He promised. He promised that we would have a kid. So, for a day or maybe a couple hours, we just was upset. We like, man, it sucked. But we looked and said, God, you promised this, and I know you're gonna do it. So, we dusted ourselves off, and we kept on going. We like, okay, everything happened for a reason. It happened for a reason. God knows something that we don't. He created us. He knows something that we don't. So, you know what? God, we trust you. We trust you. We want you to, go ahead, and we trust you. So we kept on going, kept pushing. We said we're going to give it some time, you know what I mean? And at this time, we wound up, just enjoying each other's company, having fun, just doing what we was doing, not focusing on it, you know what I mean? We had a wedding we had to go to in Baltimore, so we wound up going to a wedding. We had so much fun at this wedding, you know what I mean? It was something tragic happened, but we trust God. So we trusted God. So we waited a few until everything was like cleared out, like the embryo had to get cleared out or whatever, however it happened. And then we said, okay, we're gonna try again. We're gonna try again. You know what I mean? God knew something that we didn't. So we gonna try again. And it was a couple months later. And we tried again. This time we wasn't so anxious to find out. We just said, you know what, God, we trust you, and we're gonna just let it go. So that's what we did. And my mom told my wife, like, y'all going, this baby gonna come, y'all, he coming. And if you hear the key word, she said, he coming. And I'm like, huh? She knows something I don't. She knows something I don't. So we waited, and then we was like, you know what? We waited longer than the last time. I said, all right, let's try it again. Let's take a pregnancy test and let's try it again. And this time, since we waited a little longer, we got another positive. So I'm not going to stay on here too much longer. You know what I mean? This is, like I said, this is part 4, and this is probably it. Because at this point, I'm at this point in my life with the, us prego and new job, and I'm at this point in my life where my life, I turned it all the way around, where I took off all the layers that I had. Not saying I was perfect, but I took off all them bad layers, and all I was doing is putting on good layers. Like, you know what? I'm focusing on God, focusing on my marriage, focusing on, and it was just that time in my life where I was beginning this new phase. So this being said, I still got more of this story to do. That being said, don't ever give up on God. Never give up. Because at the end of the day, we don't know his mind. We don't know what's going on, what's going to happen. We could have easily was like, oh, God, you took this baby, we was trying to have it. But, I mean, not saying, but what if God knew something more than we did? So, what if we might have had complications with the baby further down the line? We don't know. We just left it in God's hands. You know what I mean? So, all I can say is, trust in God. Trust He going to do what He say He going to do. You know what I mean? And believe, like, don't ever give up and be like, yeah, you know what? I'm gonna give up on it and Nah, just continue to trust God. Focus on the relationship with Him and doing all the things that you gotta do for Him. Because at the end of the day, with God in your life, you always gonna win. Because He is the winner. He is the creator of everything. So you always gonna win. You know what I mean? And we asked for it, baby. And God, He said, you ask not, you get not. So we asked. And He said He was going to give it. But it was all in God's time. Everything that goes on in life is in God's time. Not in ours. We want certain things to happen right now. But that's not how it works. God wants us to wait on Him. I never had a moment in my life where God told me no. He'll tell you to wait, but He never said no, not to me. You know what I mean? Everything I ever wanted, I got. And I know it's from God. Not because having credit and all that. Yeah, that come with whatever things on the earth. But with God, He is in control of everything. He owns everything. So you might have the worst credit, but you go in there and with God's favor, He'll be like, I'm gonna get you get it. You dig what I'm saying? So listen, look, never give up on God. Always keep pushing, but pick God first. You know what I mean? Just put God first all the time, and then let Him do what He do. We step out the way. But I'm gonna end it here. You guys just, like I said, like, share, subscribe, share, like, just yeah, man, just we keeping this channel going. You know what I mean? And I'm gonna keep doing it. I mean, God put it in my heart to do this. I'm gonna keep doing it. So either if you watch or you don't, but share with a friend. You know what I mean? Let them look at the video. I don't care. Listen, if y'all don't even watch it, just share it anyway. Subscribe. Get your friends to subscribe. Tell them, yo, subscribe. You ain't gotta watch it. Set the where when I come on or put a video, y'all get it. Cause you might need to hear that video. Who knows? But yo, get at me. I'm working. I most definitely will be back on here uploading. You know what I mean? I got another one to upload, and I do this when I'm at work because it's like quiet and I can sit back and just think about this. But listen, everybody have a good day, and I most definitely will be back. Just like, subscribe, share. Let's keep it going. I'm gonna keep talking until I can't talk no more. So, just keep pushing. Never give up. I will be back on here. Talk to you guys later. Have a good day.